Hey guys, Joey Roquet here, Skyline Home Loans. So the other day I was having lunch with a friend and he was kicking around the idea of selling his home and either renting or buying. Now I asked him, I said, why are you looking to rent as a homeowner? Don't you like the abilities you have as a homeowner? And he told me he believes there's a correction coming. Now this friend of mine, he's fairly number driven. Everything he does is calculated. So I said, hey, let's put it on paper. Does it make sense to purchase now or maybe down the road? So he said, okay, let's do it. At the time, we only had a napkin. So this is the cleaner version of the napkin. The sales prices he was comfortable at were about $410,000. So for numbers purposes, I said, let's make it an easy 400 just to make it clean. I asked him, how much are you gonna net on your sale? He said $40,000. I said, awesome, that'll make it even easier. So we started with today's scenario. If he were to sell today and purchase today, we start with a sales price of $400,000. We have an available down payment after he sells that house of $40,000. And because he purchased right away, there's no rent cost. Surprisingly, he did his research there too. He said in the houses that he was looking at, the rent would be between $1,900 and $2,000. So I said, let's put the ball slightly in your court and let's only use $1,900 for rent. So we used $0 for today's purchase scenario. The leftover down payment after no rent would be $40,000 still. So I said in 12 months, say you did a 1-year lease, what kind of pullback do you expect or correction, right? He did some research there too. He said a very average correction or a higher end correction would be 5% per year. I said, let's use it. So a $400,000 home would now be worth $380,000 12 months later if we had a 5% correction. At that point, we had our starting $40,000 and he had to pay rent with that. So at that point, we paid $22,000 and $22,800 in rent. The total leftover down payment, $17,200. That's a pretty big hit, he said. And I agreed with him, especially for money that's not going back into your property. So I said, maybe the long-term rent makes sense. What about a 2-year lease? How much do you think the market could correct at that point? He said, well, possibly 10%. I said, let's do it then. 10% pullback. $400,000 today, 10% depreciation gets you to $360,000 for the same home in today's market. At that point, the $40,000 had a $45,600 hit due to 2 years worth of rent. That leftover down payment, negative $5,600. That scenario he wasn't too fond of. So I said, let's keep going on the 12-month then. I said, what kind of principal are you gonna pay on the mortgage that you would have had already? 0, he said. Makes sense, because all you were doing was renting. So the final loan amount he would have with the available rent and with the available down payment would be $362,800. I said, well, what are we looking at principal-wise? We got out our amortization schedules on Google. We had $5,311.31 go towards the loan amount if you were to purchase today and not in 12 months. The final loan balance would be $354,688.69. That is a positive $8,111.31 if he did not rent for 12 months, even if the market corrected for 5%. So in conclusion, my buddy realized he's gonna save $8,000 by purchasing today, even after the 5% pullback or even more after the 10% pullback. So what can you do with this information? Well, I recommend getting a home evaluation report. Any local real estate professional will do it for you for free, and we do have a link in our description. For more home buying tips, please subscribe, and we will see you soon.